Hey there, learner. Welcome to this deep dive. We're going to crack open Dr. Abhay Gupta's U 2.0, Reinventing Creativity in Midlife. It's like having a personal guide to re-energize your creative side no matter how old you are, or, if you think you're even creative at all.
It's a really common myth that creativity is just for young people. But Dr. Gupta digs into the science, the history, and tells some amazing stories that show us something different. Midlife isn't about losing your creative spark. It's more like a transformation. It gets stronger. It gets deeper. We're about to explore why this could be your most creative time yet.
So what we're going to do today is pull out the most useful parts of this book, give you some clear steps to take. It's like a roadmap to help you unlock and even reinvent your creativity, especially how to use all this new digital stuff that's out there. And honestly, just to really thrive creatively. If you're feeling stuck, or you just don't feel inspired at all, or maybe you're curious about how to really tap into your creative potential. This deep dive is for you. First things first, let's bust this myth that you're only creative when you're young. Dr. Gupta goes right at this, and what he shows us is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting how much we believe this as a society. But Dr. Gupta has a ton of evidence that shows us a different story.
Yeah.
He says creativity doesn't just disappear. It's more like it changes. It grows and gets richer the older you get.
That's so true. Just look at some of the biggest creative names: Leonardo da Vinci, Maya Angelou, Steve Jobs, Vera Wang. They all did some of their best work well into midlife. It's like they hit their stride later in life.
And here's the big takeaway. Midlife isn't the end of your creative life. It's more like the main event. You have years of experience, all this knowledge you've built up, plus you're better at solving problems and understanding people. It's the perfect time to do your best work, not slow down.
And the whole world of creativity has changed too, hasn't it? Dr. Gupta talks about how technology and the internet and even AI have totally opened things up. You don't need permission from the big guys anymore to get your work out there.
That's such a huge point about access. The creator economy is exploding. People are using YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Substack. You can connect with people directly all over the world. It's pretty amazing.
I was thinking about AI too. It felt kind of scary at first, but Dr. Gupta explains in U 2.0 how AI can actually help creators. It's like a tool that unlocks new ways to be creative, especially in things like art, music, writing, and design.
Exactly. It's not about AI taking over. It's about AI giving you more power to create. Plus, there are new ways to make money from your work. Online courses, NFTs, selling your digital creations, things that just weren't possible before.
So basically the idea that you become less creative as you age, it's totally wrong. It might even be holding you back from doing some of your best work. So let's talk about what Dr. Gupta calls the midlife creativity advantage. He says midlife gives you 3 big advantages. First, your experience actually helps you be more innovative.
Right. It's not like you just forget everything you've learned. You've spent years dealing with problems, seeing how things work, and that gives you a really solid base to build on. Your work is going to be more strategic, more thoughtful, and probably have more of an impact because you understand how the world really works.
He uses J.K. Rowling as an example. She wrote Harry Potter in her 30s and 40s. She wasn't some kid just starting out. She took all her life experience, her struggles, and everything she saw happening around her, and put it into these books that everyone loves.
That's what I mean about lived experience. It's not just about having more stories to tell. It's about understanding people, the good and the bad. And that makes your creative work so much better.
Okay, so the second advantage is that you're more emotionally intelligent, and that makes your work more meaningful.
Makes sense, right? We get better at understanding emotions and relationships as we get older. And we're better storytellers, too.
And because you're better with emotions, your work connects with people on a deeper level. It's richer, people relate to it more. Think about Morgan Freeman. He didn't really become super famous until he was in his 50s. He just has this amazing ability to show emotion and wisdom on screen. Yeah, it's like he's lived 1,000 lives. And learner, there's something about being creative in midlife. You can connect with people's emotions in a way that younger creators can't.
It's like a superpower. You can create things that have this real emotional core, and people really remember them.
The third advantage is interdisciplinary thinking, which is basically combining things from different fields to create something new. And that's where having different skills from your life comes in handy.
A lot of people work in a bunch of different industries. Or maybe they have hobbies that are totally different from their job. They can see connections that other people miss.
It's like Vera Wang. Right. She was a journalist and then switched to fashion design in her 40s. And because she knew the industry but also brought a fresh perspective, she totally changed how we think about wedding dresses.
So your different experiences, they all add up. And that's how you create stuff that's truly new and exciting.
Dr. Gupta asks some questions here that are worth thinking about. He asks, what experiences have really shaped how you see the world? What skills or jobs could you combine to do something new? And how can you use the challenges you face to make your work better?
They're deep questions,
Mm-hmm.
but they're meant to help you see your strengths, what makes you as a creative person, and how your life can be a source of amazing ideas.
Now let's talk about the 3 paths of midlife creativity Dr. Gupta lays out. It's amazing how people approach this whole creative thing differently. The first path is reviving past passions.
I love this one. It's the idea that maybe you had to put your creativity on hold,
Yeah.
because of work or family, but now you can pick it up again. It could be painting, writing, playing music, anything that you loved.
Bob Ross is a perfect example. He didn't start painting seriously until he was in his 40s, and he became a huge inspiration to so many people. It proves it's never too late.
And think about this. You're coming back to something you loved with all this new experience and wisdom. It could be even better than before.
Okay, path number 2 is leveraging your professional experience creatively. So you take all the skills and knowledge from your career and you use them in new ways, maybe even outside of your job.
You don't have to start from scratch. It's about using what you already know,
Mm-hmm.
but getting creative with it.
Yeah.
Maybe you start consulting or coaching or writing about your field. Think about Adam Grant. He's an organizational psychologist, but he wrote best-selling books.
He took all his research and made it super interesting for everyone. It just shows you that your work experience can be a gold mine for creative projects.
Totally. And you have insights that other people don't. You can reach a whole new audience, even people outside your industry.
And the third path is inventing new creative models. This is where technology and creativity come together.
It's about using all these new tools, like AI and new business ideas, to create in totally new ways. Musicians are using AI to write music. Writers are using AI to write stories. It's a whole new world.
It's kind of mind-blowing to think about. What if you could combine your own ideas with these tech tools? You could create things that haven't even been imagined yet.
It's not just about keeping up with the times. It's about being a leader in this whole creator movement.
So Dr. Gupta asked you to think about which path feels right for you right now. Are you thinking about picking up that old hobby? Or maybe using your work skills in a new way? Or does the tech stuff really excite you? It's all about finding what fits you.
And don't forget, these aren't separate boxes. You can totally combine them to create your own path.
Okay, let's get into something really cool. The science of creativity, specifically how your brain works in midlife, and how to unlock your creative potential. There's this big myth that our creativity just fades away as we age.
But that's just not true. Dr. Gupta lays out all the evidence. The way we express creativity might change, but the core ability to be creative that stays with us. Actually, some parts of our brains get even better for certain kinds of creativity as we get older.
He talks about divergent thinking, which is coming up with new ideas. Young brains are great at exploring, but they don't have the experience to really understand those ideas. But in midlife, you can connect those new ideas to everything you've learned and come up with something much more powerful.
It's like quantity versus quality.
Yeah.
Young brains are all about quantity, but midlife brains are all about quality.
Right. Then there's pattern recognition, seeing the connections between things. A younger brain is still learning this, but by midlife, you're a pro. You can connect the dots so much faster and come up with better ideas.
That's like being a detective. You see clues that other people miss.
He also talks about emotional regulation, which is so important for any creative person. Younger people might burn out easier or get discouraged, but by midlife, you've learned how to handle those ups and downs. You're more resilient, which means you can stick with your creative projects even when things get tough.
It's like having emotional armor. You can take the hits and keep going.
And think about Julia Cameron. She wrote The Artist's Way at 46. It just shows you that age and wisdom can be a huge advantage for creators.
Totally. And it proves that you can still do amazing creative things in midlife.
Dr. Gupta also talks about neuroplasticity, which is basically your brain's ability to change and adapt throughout your life. He says creative thinking actually strengthens your problem-solving skills and makes you more emotionally intelligent. It's like a win-win.
It's pretty amazing, right? Your brain is constantly evolving, and being creative helps it evolve in good ways.
So he suggests challenging your brain every day. Learn something new. Expose yourself to new ideas. It's like exercise for your brain.
Keep it active. Keep it engaged. That's the key.
He uses the example of a chess master versus a beginner. The beginner just sees the individual moves, but the master sees the whole board. They understand all the possibilities. And it's the same with creativity. Midlife gives you that big picture perspective.
It's like you can see farther ahead. You anticipate problems. You make better choices.
And Steve Jobs is another great example. He reinvented Apple in his 40s. He wasn't just some young disruptor. He understood design psychology storytelling. He put it all together.
So take what you've learned in the past, add in some new perspectives. That's how you create something truly special.
Dr. Gupta boils it all down to three things for success in midlife: mindset, the 5% rule, and cross-pollination thinking. So let's start with mindset. It's about overcoming self-doubt. Instead of saying, I'm not creative, you start saying, I'm constantly evolving creatively.
That shift in your thinking is huge. It's about seeing creativity as a journey, not a destination. You're always growing, always changing.
He gives examples like Julia Child discovering cooking in her late 30s, Toni Morrison winning the Nobel Prize for books she wrote later in life, Ray Kroc starting McDonald's in his 50s. Proof that you can achieve amazing things at any age.
It's so inspiring. It blows that whole ageism thing out of the water.
Then there's the 5% rule. It's the idea that you dedicate 1 hour each day to your creative work. Just 1 hour. But Dr. Gupta says that small, consistent action can lead to huge results.
It's all about building a habit, like going to the gym for your creativity.
He talks about Stephen King writing every single day. And the challenge here is to make that 1 hour a non-negotiable part of your day, your creative time.
Treat it like an important meeting with yourself. No excuses.
And finally, there's cross-pollination thinking, which is about combining ideas from different areas. Dr. Gupta says that's where true innovation happens. He talks about the iPhone being inspired by calligraphy and music design, and Virgil Abloh bringing architectural ideas into fashion.
It's like mixing different colors to create a whole new shade. You never know what you'll discover.
So the challenge here is to study something totally new. Read a book outside your normal interests. Travel to a new place. Expand your horizons.
You got to shake things up. Get out of your comfort zone.
So the bottom line is this. Your creative power doesn't disappear. It actually grows. And you have all this experience to draw from, plus those small, consistent actions that can really make a difference.
Midlife is a time for creative growth, not decline.
Okay, let's talk about something we all struggle with. Mental blocks and creative inertia. You know that feeling when you want to create, but you just can't seem to get started?
Dr. Gupta calls this creative resistance. He says it's basically fear disguised as something else. It's your mind trying to protect you from being vulnerable or judged or failing. And he says it's a big reason why so many talented people get stuck.
He gets into why midlife creatives get stuck. He lists things like self-doubt, fear of wasting time, perfectionism, feeling trapped in your old career, imposter syndrome, even decision fatigue, like you have too many ideas and you don't know where to start.
But here's the thing. These mental blocks aren't a sign that you're not creative. They actually might mean you're about to have a creative breakthrough.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to think about it, like it's a sign of growth.
Exactly.
He also talks about why we say, I'm just not a creative person. He introduces this idea of a creativity wound. It's like a moment from your past. Maybe someone told you you weren't creative, and that stuck with you.
It's like a scar, but it doesn't have to define you.
So he asks you to think about who might have told you you weren't creative, and then write a letter back to them from your present self, like a way to reclaim your creative power.
It's a powerful exercise.
Yeah.
It helps you let go of those old beliefs.
Then Dr. Gupta talks about the 6 enemies of midlife creativity. First up is the inner critic, that voice in your head that's always negative. He suggests creating a character for your inner critic and actually talking back to it.
It's like taking away its power. You see it for what it is.
Yeah.
Just a voice.
Enemy number 2 is perfectionism. You know, that need to have everything perfect before you even start. He says to embrace minimum viable creativity. Basically, just get it done. Don't overthink it. Launch it, even if it's not perfect. He even has a quote, "Done is better than perfect."
So true. Perfectionism can be paralyzing. Just get it out there.
Then there's procrastination disguised as planning. You're stuck in research mode because you're scared to actually start creating. He tells a story about someone who took 3 years to launch a course because they kept tweaking it. His solution: the 30-day imperfect launch challenge. Pick a project and get a basic version out there in 30 days. No more excuses.
It's about taking action. Stop planning and start doing.
Enemy number 4 is creative comparison syndrome. You're constantly comparing yourself to other people and feeling bad. Dr. Gupta suggests the mirror versus window exercise. Window mode is when you're scrolling through social media, seeing everyone's highlight reel. Mirror mode is when you focus on your own journey. He says to schedule mirror time each week. Look back at what you've accomplished. Remember that someone else's success doesn't diminish yours.
It's about celebrating your own wins, not getting caught up in the comparison trap.
Then there's the midlife identity trap. You're stuck in your old career identity, and it's hard to see yourself as a creative person. But Dr. Gupta says your identity isn't fixed. It's something you can change. He tells a story about a CFO who became a filmmaker, and he gives you identity expansion questions to help you explore new creative roles.
It's like you can become a new version of yourself. It's never too late to reinvent yourself.
And finally, there's the fear of visibility, that feeling of being scared to share your work with the world. It's a common fear, but Dr. Gupta doesn't really give a specific tool for it here. It's definitely something we all struggle with, though.
For sure. It often comes with the other fears, like judgment and self-doubt. It's about taking small steps and building your confidence over time.
So how do we move past these blocks? Dr. Gupta gives us a plan. The 4M framework. Mindset reset, micro-commitment, momentum rituals, and meaningful progress. It's a way to get unstuck and start creating.
Took a roadmap to get you moving again.
He also has a checklist for releasing creative resistance. Have you identified your inner critic? Set a creative goal for 30 days. Blocked off time for creating. Embraced minimum viable creativity. Challenged those old beliefs. It's a way to make sure you're taking action.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And he shares stories of real people who overcame their blocks, like Chip Conley, who started the Modern Elder Academy, Elizabeth Gilbert, who found joy in creating after huge success, and Anand, who started a podcast in his 40s. It gives you hope that you can do it too.
It's so inspiring to hear those stories. It shows that it's possible to break through and do amazing things.
And he ends this part with a really powerful question. What if this time you don't quit? Something to really think about.
It's a challenge, a dare to yourself, to keep going, even when it's hard.
Let's talk about inspiration now. How to stay creatively energized for the long haul. We tend to think of inspiration as this random thing, but Dr. Gupta says it's something we can actually create for ourselves.
It's like we have more control than we think.
He's going to show us how our brains respond to inspiration, how to create our own creativity rituals, how to combine different ideas, how to get unstuck using things like travel and play, and how to turn those little sparks of inspiration into a constant flow of creative energy.
It's about being proactive, not just waiting for inspiration to hit us.
He starts by defining inspiration scientifically. It's basically a state of mind that gets your brain ready to be creative. You're more motivated, you can focus better.
And there are certain chemicals in our brains that are involved, like dopamine.
Yeah.
It's the feel-good chemical that helps us stay curious and motivated.
And there is this network in our brains called the default mode network. It's active when we're resting, and it helps us process ideas subconsciously. And then there are theta brainwaves. They're associated with deep relaxation and that flow state when we're super creative.
It's like your brain needs both stimulation to get new ideas and rest to process those ideas.
Right. It's not just about being on all the time. You need downtime too.
Just about finding the balance.
Then he talks about creating a creative inspiration ritual. Not just a routine, but a ritual. Something with meaning. He suggests 3 parts: environmental cues, pre-work priming, and post-work closure. Environmental cues are things like lighting music sense objects. He uses Haruki Murakami's morning routine as an example. It's about consistency and intention.
It's like setting the stage for creativity.
Pre-work priming is about getting your mind ready to create, things like morning pages, visualization, breathwork, meditation, free writing. He says to choose one and try it for a week. See how it affects your creative process.
It's like warming up your creative muscles.
And post-work closure is about ending your creative time in a way that helps your brain process ideas. He suggests journaling, making a note of where you left off a gratitude list, or even sharing an insight publicly. He says this helps your subconscious mind keep working on those ideas.
It's like planting seeds that will grow later.
Next, he talks about cross-pollinating your creative inputs. So if you're a writer, maybe you study art. Or if you're a musician, maybe you read about science. He uses David Bowie as an example. Bowie was all over the place creatively. He was constantly absorbing new ideas from different fields.
It's about breaking out of your creative bubble. See what's happening in other worlds.
He even suggests picking a new discipline to explore this month. It could be anything.
The more diverse your inputs, the more creative you can be.
Then he talks about play, movement, and travel. He says play is essential for creativity. He even has a creativity play deck with prompts to get you playing. And he talks about how travel, even just a short trip, can help you see things in a new way.
It's like hitting the reset button on your brain.
He encourages you to plan a micro journey this month, even just a day trip.
Sometimes you just need a change of scenery.
And finally, he talks about flow, that state of being totally absorbed in your work. He gives you tips on how to get into flow and how to make it last. And he challenges you to think about which activities give you energy and which ones drain you.
It's about managing your creative energy.
He ends this section with a really important point. Inspiration is a system. You can create it for yourself. Build your own ritual. Find diverse inputs. Protect your creative time. And act on those ideas.
Don't just wait for inspiration to strike. Go out and find it.
Now let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence. It can be a little scary for some creators, but Dr. Gupta has a really positive take. He says AI isn't a threat, it's a tool.
It's about changing our perspective. Instead of fearing AI, we can use it to our advantage.
He breaks down what AI can actually do creatively. Things like generating ideas, drafting content, creating visuals, making music, and automating tasks. He says to think of AI as a skilled assistant.
Like someone who can take care of the boring stuff so you can focus on the fun stuff.
Exactly. But he also points out what AI can't do. Things like defining your own style, telling your personal story, making subjective judgments, truly innovating. He says the best creative work will come from humans and AI working together.
It's a partnership, not a competition.
He gives examples of how AI is being used in different fields. Writers using AI to overcome writer's block. Artists using AI for inspiration. Musicians using AI for composition. Educators using AI for course creation. It's happening everywhere.
It's like having a creative collaborator, a brainstorming partner.
He even provides a curated AI toolkit for creators, a list of tools for writing art, video, audio productivity courses. He encourages you to pick one and try it out.
It's like a playground for creative tools. Go have fun.
But he also talks about AI ethics, making sure you're using it in a way that feels good and authentic. He gives you an AI ethics and ownership framework. He says to think of AI as a co-creator, not a replacement.
It's about being mindful and making sure your own voice shines through.
He gives you a 7-day plan to try out AI in your work. And he ends this section with a really positive thought. The future of creativity is AI plus creators. Your human wisdom and originality, they're still irreplaceable.
It's a powerful message.
Yeah.
It's not about AI taking over. It's about us leveling up our creativity with AI.
Now let's talk about the new creative economy. Dr. Gupta says we're in an age of creative independence.
The old rules don't apply anymore. You don't need a big publisher or a record label to be successful.
He compares the old creative world to the new one. In the past, you had to rely on gatekeepers to get your work out there. Now you have direct access to your audience. You have more control over your work and your income. And you can focus on building a smaller, more dedicated community.
It's like the power has shifted from the big guys to the individual creators.
He breaks down the platforms that are driving this new creative economy. YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Substack. All these platforms are giving creators a voice.
It's amazing how much opportunity there is out there.
He also talks about the importance of the micro audience. You don't need millions of followers to be successful. He mentions Kevin Kelly's 1,000 true fans theory. Basically, if you have 1,000 people who truly love your work, you can build a sustainable business.
It's about quality over quantity. Focus on building a loyal community who truly appreciates what you do.
He then talks about how to make money in this new world. Selling products, offering services, building memberships, creating courses, licensing your work. He encourages you to start with one that feels good to you.
It's about finding the monetization model that fits your creative style.
He shares stories of people who have reinvented themselves in this new economy, like Lisa, who became a creator coach, Arun the storyteller, and Deanna, the retired artist. It shows you that it's possible to create a successful career on your own terms.
These are real people doing real things. It's so inspiring.
And his message is clear. You don't need permission. You need a plan.
Get out there and make it happen.
Let's talk about how creative thinking is important in all areas of life, not just art. Dr. Gupta says it's becoming a core skill in every industry.
He's talking about expanding the definition of creativity. It's not just about painting or writing. It's about solving problems with imagination, thinking outside the box, seeing connections that others miss.
He gives examples of creative thinking in business, like Airbnb turning unused spaces into income. And he talks about how CRISPR gene editing required a huge creative leap in science.
It's about pushing boundaries, challenging the status quo.
He also talks about storytelling as a key creative skill, whether you're a leader, a salesperson, or a brand builder. He talks about Simon Sinek's Start With Why framework and encourages you to write your own origin story.
Storytelling is how we connect with each other. It's a powerful tool.
He gives you a framework called the LEAP Creativity Framework. Listen differently. Explore connections, act on intuition, present with story. It's a step-by-step guide to using creativity in any situation.
It's like a recipe for creative problem solving.
And he shares stories of people who used creative thinking to reinvent themselves. Sheila, who became a systems coach, James, who became a storytelling trainer, Nisha, who became an impact strategist, all in fields that aren't traditionally creative.
It shows you that you can use creativity anywhere, no matter what your job is.
His message is clear. Be a creative problem solver, not just a specialist.
The world needs more creative thinkers, not just experts.
Let's talk about making money from your creativity. Dr. Gupta says it's not about selling out. It's about sustainability.
A lot of creators struggle with this. They think making money from their art makes it less pure. But Dr. Gupta says it's the opposite.
He explains why creatives resist making money, things like feeling uncomfortable with self-promotion or believing that art and money can't coexist. He offers some reframes and reminds us that authenticity and abundance can totally coexist.
It's about finding the balance, honoring your art while also valuing your time and energy.
He breaks down the 5 main ways to monetize your work. Selling products, offering services, building memberships, creating courses, licensing your work. He encourages you to pick one and start exploring.
It's like finding your creative business model.
He talks about pricing with confidence and debunks the myth of the starving artist. He offers a pricing formula and asks an important question. Would you feel good about charging this price?
It's about valuing yourself, knowing that your creativity is worth something.
He gives you a 3-phase plan to go from side hustle to real income, and he shares stories of people who are making money on their own terms. Daniel, who became a course creator. Priya, who started a printables business. Marcus, who became a digital coach. It shows you that it's possible.
It's all about taking action, putting yourself out there.
And he talks about building a portfolio of income streams, having multiple sources of income from your creative work.
It's like diversifying your creative portfolio, so you're not reliant on just one thing.
He ends this section with a powerful message. Your creativity deserves to be paid for.
Don't undervalue yourself. Your work is valuable.
Let's get practical now. How to actually sell your work online. Dr. Gupta says distribution is just as important as creation.
It's not enough to just make something. You have to get it out there.
He talks about having a platform strategy. He uses this idea of a platform power grid. You pick one platform to connect with your audience and one to sell your work. It's about focus.
Don't try to be everywhere. Pick your battles.
He then gives you a whole list of tools for websites, email marketing courses, automation, even AI tools. He reminds you how important it is to build an email list. And he even suggests using AI to help you write content.
It's like having a whole team of digital helpers. You don't have to do it all yourself.
He also talks about scaling your business without burning out, why systems are important. He introduces the simple creative business system, and he encourages you to build one new system each month.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
He shares stories of people using tools to grow their businesses. Carla, the artist, Sandeep, the coach, Meena, the newsletter writer. They're all proof that you can use technology to your advantage.
It's about leveraging the power of the internet.
And his message is clear. You don't need more time. You need the right tools.
Technology can free up your time so you can focus on what you love.
Okay, let's talk about how to avoid burnout. Dr. Gupta says creativity without capacity leads to collapse.
It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, but it's not sustainable.
He talks about defining success on your own terms, not letting external measures define you. He gives you 3 questions to think about. What brings you joy? What impact do you want to make? What kind of lifestyle do you want? He encourages you to create an ideal week map.
It's about designing your life, not just your business.
He introduces the creative season model, the idea that creativity is cyclical. There are times for creating and times for resting, just like nature.
It's about honoring your natural rhythms.
He gives you a framework for sustainable growth. Systemize, simplify, support. He talks about the creative martyr trap, that feeling like you have to sacrifice everything for your art. He shares a story of someone who learned to set boundaries, which is so important.
Protect your time, protect your energy, protect your creativity.
He talks about sustainable scaling, knowing when to automate, outsource, collaborate, and even pause. He says growth that comes at the expense of your well-being isn't real growth.
It's about finding the sweet spot, where you're growing but also thriving.
He gives you examples of boundaries you can set and encourages you to implement at least one this week. And he talks about shifting your mindset to a more sustainable approach. He says, creative fire is renewable if you tend it wisely.
It's like taking care of a garden. You have to nurture it to make it grow.
He ends this section with a powerful thought. Design your business to last.
It's not about a quick win. It's about a long and fulfilling journey.
Now let's think about the long game. How to stay creatively relevant for years to come. Dr. Gupta reminds us that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
We live in a world of instant gratification, but creativity takes time.
He talks about the fear of becoming irrelevant, but he points out that many creators do their best work later in life. He gives examples like Louise Bourgeois, Toni Morrison, and Grandma Moses, all proving that creativity doesn't have an expiration date.
Age and experience can actually be an advantage.
He talks about the shifting identity of a midlife creator, moving from proving yourself to finding meaning and making a contribution. He asks, what truth are you uniquely positioned to share with the world?
It's about finding your voice, your unique perspective.
He outlines 3 pillars of long-term creative relevance: curiosity, clarity, and community. He encourages you to join or create a creative circle.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who support your journey.
He talks about creative reinvention at every decade. What to focus on in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond.
It's never too late to reinvent yourself.
He introduces a tool called the Legacy Ladder to help you map out your long-term creative goals. And he talks about staying creatively young by embracing new ideas and experiences.
Keep learning, keep growing. Keep your mind young.
He ends this section with a powerful thought. Creativity is a calling, not a career.
It's about something bigger than yourself.
Let's talk about how to use your creativity for good. Dr. Gupta talks about the shift from self-expression to contribution.
It's about using your gifts to make a difference in the world.
He talks about the different phases of creativity and how as we mature, our focus often shifts to helping others.
It's like our creativity becomes more outward focused.
He gives examples of how creativity can be used for healing, advocacy, and mentorship.
It's about using your powers for good.
He introduces